29th, 2025. It's Tuesday. It's Harp Tuesday. Welcome to this week's episode. So today I want to just give a look at problem solving and finding a solution in something that I've done with my arrangement of Rodrigo's Concierto de Aranjuez. So his Concierto de Aranjuez is, of course, a beautiful guitar concerto. And years ago, I arranged it for the solo movement for harp. So I've taken the guitar part and the orchestra part and sort of mashed them together. I played it last year. So I recorded it back in 2001. I'm not sure exactly when I did the arrangement, but it was many, many years ago, right? Recorded it back in 2001. And over the years, I've made some adjustments and some changes. I've maybe come up with potentially better ways to do something. And this past fall, when I performed it in the fall, I came up with a solution for a little section that happens quite a number of times, this little pattern, that I'm quite happy with that solution. So previously, I would play this all in the right hand. You can hear I just can't quite get the speed I want playing all those notes with the right hand. And of course, when you come across something like that, one solution is just to get better, right? To try and build the technique so that you can do that. But another option is to think about, is there a different way you could do that? And so for something that's quite fast, and you're doing it all with one hand, can you get the other hand involved? For example, if you're doing this, that's great. But if you were able to do both hands, you could, I think, go on for much longer, not get as fatigued, and potentially be much better sound and have that be faster. So again, sometimes getting the other hand involved can really make a big difference. And that's what I did in this case. So here you can see the parts. So previously, right, this would all just be 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, etc. Keeping in mind that this is the guitar part, this is the piano reduction of the orchestra part, and so I'm playing the guitar part an octave lower than written because that's how guitar works. It's written there, but it sounds an octave lower. So for the most part throughout this piece, I'm playing the right hand an octave lower than written, or I'm playing the guitar part where it sounds rather than where it's written, not always. And then these orchestra chords here, I'm also moving them down an octave because otherwise they're right in the midst of what the right hand is playing, because it's just not going to work. So as I said, I thought, well, last year, I thought, how can I get the right hand involved in here to get maybe it sounding even better? And it's actually not initially super clear how you would do that. Let's say you had no left-hand notes to play. You're just left hand's free to do this pattern. Do you want to do 1, 2, 2, 1? Right, you could do something where right hand's 1, 2, left hand's 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, which is possible. You're kind of dealing with the fact that you're fighting over this E. The hands are playing that alternatingly. So we kind of hear that stoppage a bit. And in the end, what I came up with was to do merely one note in the left hand, this E. Because it's the same hand repeating the E, somehow that, to me, got a cleaner sound. And it also, I think, maybe frees up the left hand a little bit better to go down and get these chords, something that we couldn't do if we were doing because here on this note, we would need a chord. So I'll tell you my solution for the chords here in a moment. But that pattern, I think, then sounds pretty good. So what happens is at the beginning we do still 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 1, 2, but then the left hand takes this each time with a thumb, 2, 1. Sorry, not that one. The left hand takes the E, so this is a 3, and then the left hand takes this E, and we go 1, 2, 3. It's pretty sloppy 2. And then the left hand takes that with a thumb, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3. Now what are we going to do here? Because here, if this is left hand, we will want to include this chord, right? I could leave that chord out. I could have left all the chords out. I could have gone the beginning. Sorry, one beat too many, but just like that. But I wanted the pulse of those chords if at all possible. I wanted the orchestra sound there. I could, for example, have said, okay, well, if the left hand's going to jump down and grab that chord, what if the right hand keeps playing, goes 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. Sorry, these are the other potential things. 3, 2, and then this is going to be the left hand again. Okay, maybe, so we get... The problem is, I think it's never... I'm always going to hear a little bit of the it's not going to be as crisp as or as fast doing that little 1 2 1 2 3 2 1 2 3 as I don't think it's going to sound as good. We're going to notice that switch in the pattern, and we're going to notice that it doesn't sound quite as good, at least for me. So what I ended up doing is I ended up dropping this E, and on that beat I played the chord with the left hand with 4 3 2, so that I'm keeping the thumb as close as possible to this. So that in other words, what happens is the right hand, is playing 1 2 3, and instead of the left hand playing this note, I jump down and play that chord. And you might not have noticed that that E was left out when you heard it at the very beginning of this episode. So we hear the E down here with a chord. I suppose I could have played this chord up here, which would have included this E in the octave I'm playing, but it sounds weird to me if we've gotten used to hearing it down here. And yeah. I mean, that's another option. I could have tried to move everything up and just play the chords here. I've gotten so used to hearing these chords down in this register that I don't know. I just like them down there. But that would be another option. As it was, it didn't bother me that missing higher E. Just our ear kind of fills it in. We hear the lower E and it moves along. So again, maybe in the future I will decide that no, I'm going to move these chords up here, and that's great, and that E will be there and everything will be great. But as it was, I was okay with jumping down and playing that chord instead of the higher E. And I'll mention just a technique thing that with this note, I don't know how well you can see this, but my thumb is reaching back quite a bit. So here might be a normal position, but I'm moving my hand a little bit further away from me and reaching the thumb back to reduce the chance of the back of the thumbnail touching the F. That's a risk of buzzing. We're not going to buzz. We can't buzz on the D because we can't touch it, right? But we could touch this F. We could touch the F with the back of our finger or thumbnail, back of our thumb, I guess. And by being like this, I think is a safer position than being here. In the end, then, I was really happy with this because finally I could have it sound with how I always wanted it to, with that freedom, that not being held back by my technique, not being held back by not being able to play those quite as fast and loud as I would like when I was doing it all with the right hand, but instead to just have this stream of notes that sounds exactly how I want it to. And so again, this is a very specific example of this particular piece. And it's an interesting little pattern to play with. You might just have fun trying that 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3. Kind of fun. But more broadly, what I hope you will take away from this is this idea of always experimenting, always thinking and problem solving, even in a piece you've played for 10, 20 years, to think about new solutions and new ideas and trying to come up with better ways to do things. And I think that can apply to any piece that you're playing. So hope you've enjoyed that. I will see you soon for another episode of Harp Tuesday. Cheers.